5 of my favourite plugins from 2021. Hi, welcome to the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, I'm going to run through 5 of my favourite plugins from 2021 in no particular order. So let's jump in. So here we are in Studio One. Now, as I said, it's not in any particular order, but we're going to kick off with the Amek 9099 console channel strip from Brainworks Plugin Alliance. Quite simply, one of the best channel strips I've ever worked with in the box. It has this really nice posh sound to it. Really kind of puts this sheen over any kind of sound that you run through it. It's great on drums, really, really nice on guitar and synths. Amazing on strings. I wasn't expecting that at all. It's just a really, really good all-rounder. I use the channel strips from Plugin Alliance quite a lot. I use their SSL 9000 pretty much in every single track. Absolutely love it. But this particular channel strip is beginning to kind of replace it in a lot of places. It's just got such a nice sound to it. The filters are really, really nice, really clean. The compressor is amazing. You've got a lot of functions on here that you wouldn't normally have on a compressor on a channel strip. The ability to wet and dry, the sidechain filters, this amazing ambience knob which you can hear what's being compressed. The compressor's just got this really nice kind of warm, creamy sound to it. I mean, I have used this channel strip before where I've just used the compressor and I haven't used anything else. It has a limiter on it as well, which is amazing. The gate, can't lie to you, haven't used the gate that much to be honest, but on the odd thing I have used it on, it's got a really, really nice sound to it. It's very subtle, very clean. The EQ is amazing. The shelf on this is the top end. Just really clean, got a real kind of Neve sound to it. As I said, just a really, really nice clean sound. Good on pretty much anything, even on buses. And as I said, each separate element to the channel strip, you can quite easily use. I mean, it could quite easily be its own plugin. I would be well happy if I had a compressor plugin that just had this in it. And even the limiter, perhaps not a limiter that I would use in mastering, but certainly really handy to have a limiter on a channel strip. It's won awards this year and it absolutely deserves it. Very quickly becoming my channel strip of choice, which, considering I've been using SSL channel strips in the box for many, many years, for this to come along and start kind of stealing the crown, stealing the thunder a little bit, it really is a great channel strip and I would definitely suggest demoing it or checking it out. So as we're talking about channel strips, I thought I'd go straight to the new Waves SSL channel strip, the EV2. So this is number 2 on my list. Like I said, in no particular order. Really, really nice SSL channel strip. Got a great preamp section. Compressor on it, you know, just real nice sounding SSL compressor. I would have liked a wet dry on there, but they've added a few extra functions on this channel strip which they haven't had on their channel strips before. You have some EQ types that you can choose, the brown and the black here. Please feel free to go online and read the manual to read up a little bit more on that. But it's basically slightly different EQ styles that are in the actual original hardware. It has a auto listen function added to this particular one, which is really nice, which you do see in a lot of other plugins. I think that's going to become a kind of general rule for a lot of plugins going forward. I think it's handy. I don't use it all the time, but it's quite handy if you're doing surgical work. And they've just added a few other extra things to do with imaging down here. But it's a really, really nice sound. I love the preamp on it. you can really drive it quite hard. Let's just bring that down. Breaks up really nicely. Just dirty this beat up a little bit. Let's just give it a bit of bottom end. A little bit of 200 in there, that sounds a bit. Brighten up a little bit. Actually, if we turn this on, you can hear what I'm doing. Bit of 5K on there just to give it a bit more clarity. What's really nice about the EQ on this is you can really push it quite far and it doesn't sound plastic, it doesn't sound digital. I don't think there's many EQs that I would push 6 on and it still have a nice sound to it. Certainly not in 5K. A nice shelf on it as well. So yeah, this is certainly becoming my go-to SSL channel strip. I do use them, pretty much all of the ones that are available. The other ones from Waves, the ones from Plugin Alliance, the ones from UAD I use a lot, and even the native ones from SSL, they're really good as well. And there's a couple other companies that make them. So yeah, this is number 2 on my list of best plugins of 2021. So number 3 on my list is the Kelvin Tone Shaper, which is kind of a saturation plugin. I use it a lot on mastering, do also use it when I do mixdowns as well, but really it's a mastering tool for me. Really, really nice saturation. Again, it's got a really nice kind of posh sound to it, like the Amek that I was talking about earlier. Just really, really nice sound. You have 2 stages of saturation, a bunch of different choices for saturation, some tubes, and it really is amazing. I mean, let's just listen to it. You have this great EQ section here, which can be pre or post. Has a clipper. You hear when I bring it in from bypass, it just gives the mix, the master rather, a really nice kind of girthy, thick low end. Exactly how you would expect tube saturation, which is what this one here is. Vintage classic tube preamp. It is just really, really nice. Really, if you're listening to this in headphones, you'll really hear a difference between the bypass and when the plugin is on. Just this really nice, warm, kind of full, wide bottom end. I mean, I have done masters recently where I have used this and a limiter, and that's it. I've added some saturation. I've done a little bit of EQ work here, just a bit of shaping work. Obviously, also you can change the frequencies down here. Admittedly, the mix was very, very good and it didn't need a lot of work, but just adding Kelvin Tone Shaper to the master and then putting it through the limiter just finished it off for me, gave it this lovely kind of warm bottom end and clean, nice clarity, kind of upper mid-range and high end. So number 4 on my list is the first of 2 limiters. This one is the Brainworks BX Limiter True Peak. Now, when I first bought this, to be honest, I didn't even demo it. I just bought it because I love the stuff that Brainworks do, and I wanted a clean, transparent True Peak limiter for mastering. What I quite often do in mastering is I stack my limiters. So I have several limiters which have color and character to them, like the Waves L2, and I have limiters which are very, very clean and transparent, which I tend to put at the end of the chain to take care of any kind of oversamples. So I really thought that this limiter would be my end game limiter for that kind of situation. But as soon as I first tried it, I realized straight away that it was definitely not transparent. I don't know whether they wanted it to be transparent or not, but it isn't transparent. Now, that really is not a bad thing, not for me anyway, personally. I love my limiters to have character the same way I love my compressors, my EQ, my preamps, everything to have character. I love being able to listen to a particular song, assess it and think, oh, wow, yeah, if I add this particular processor to it, it's going to be able to change it in this particular way. And I don't really even have to do very much with it. This is one of those character plugins for me. It has a really nice, gritty, edgy kind of mid-range to it, especially when you apply this XL function here. And it just has a really, really nice color to it. You can just put it on your chain and not touch it, to be honest, and it just adds a really nice color, and I like that straight away. I've actually seen a few other mastering engineers say the same thing, that they love the fact that when they apply it, it just adds character and color to their master chain. So it doesn't do what I wanted it to do, but it actually does something else which I wasn't expecting, which is actually better than what I really wanted it to do in the first place, because I've already got transparent limiters to take care of true peaks, oversampling, that kind of thing. So it was another addition to my arsenal that was really unexpected, and it's on a fair few of my masters. I'm just going to push this XL here, and if you just listen, it kind of pushes the mid-range forward, but not in an overbearing way. It doesn't make it sound too harsh. It just does it in a really nice, I don't want to say analog, but it does it in a really nice analog way. I'm going to push it a bit harder than I would in an actual situation. Let's just take the ceiling down a little bit. I would normally have it round about between 10 and 15. Really, really nice. You can push it quite far before it starts sounding horrible, which is nice. There's a lot of limiters that I use which are really great, but you can't really do much more than about 2 decibels of gain reduction, or pushing the gain a little bit, and it just starts breaking up and sounding not particularly nice. So you have a sweet spot. The sweet spot on this True Peak limiter is bigger than most other limiters that I use in the box. Really, really nice. Works really, really nice alongside FabFilter L2. What's the other limiter that I use alongside this? IK Multimedia Stealth Limiter works really nice if you place it just afterwards. L2 from Waves and this together, a little bit too much in the mid-range. So yeah, really, really great limiter. Well deserves the plaudits it's been getting this year. And finally on my list, this one is a little bit of a cheat, because the Ivory package from Acustica Audio didn't actually come out in 2021. It came out a few years ago, but they actually added this limiter to the Ivory package this year in around about June, July time. Again, like the BX True Peak, it's a real character limiter. It's not transparent. I absolutely love it. It can be a wideband limiter if you turn off here. If you have this switched on, you basically have the ability to limit in the low end and in the high end. With the preamp on or with the preamp off, it's a great limiter. With the preamp on, it's an amazing limiter. And what I really like about what Acoustic Audio have been doing on a lot of their plugins now, that if you turn the preamp on, when you adjust the input, it reduces the output, so you're not having to balance all the time. It automatically, it's like an auto gain function basically. The preamp on it just sounds really, really nice. It's just another one of those limiters for me. Obviously, as a mastering engineer, limiters are very important. And it's nice to have a wide range of limiters to choose from. Every single song I listen to, I will listen to it in a different way. I will assess it and I think, what limiters can I use on this? And this is becoming a bit more of a go-to for me, especially on EDM, just for the ability to be able to adjust the high end and the low end. Just really, really nice sound. So with a preamp on, you can really drive. It's just got such a nice sound to it. Again, I mean, Acustica Audio, they do really, really nail that kind of analog sound in the box. I don't like to really compare analog and digital. For me, it's just kind of about, if it sounds good, then it sounds good. I don't care if it sounds exactly like the analog version. That really just doesn't bother me at all. If I get a nice sound out of it, that's what I'm interested in. And this limiter is just, it's well worth the money. Acustica Audios tend to be pretty expensive on the CPU and expensive on the wallet, but they're well worth it if you're really taking your mastering and mixing seriously. Do you know what? I really like plugins that you can just drive into the red and they still sound good. It gives me a sense of achievement for some reason. So that's number 5 on my favourite plugins of 2021. So there you have it. Now I just want to point out that I've paid for all of those plugins myself. I'm not sponsored by any of those companies and they haven't paid me to review any of their plugins. But that is my 5 favourite plugins of 2021. So thanks ever so much for watching. Please subscribe for more mixing and mastering tutorials and reviews. This is the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. Until next time.